Good afternoon. Welcome to the Late Afternoon Show. I'm your host, Liliana Link, and we have a very special episode today. It has been 1 week since we inaugurated the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, and Vice President Kamala Harris. Today's episode is all about the ceremony and many people who make up the leadership of the United States. So let's get on to today's topics. Topic 1. What is an inauguration? Well, the Oxford Dictionary defines the word as the beginning or introduction of a system, policy, or period, and also a ceremony to mark the beginning of something. Inaugurations are an important part of our nation's history and mark new beginnings. It's a great way to start a year, especially after a particularly challenging 2020. History was made at this particular inauguration as Kamala Harris was also sworn in last Wednesday as the nation's first female Black and South Asian American vice president. A daughter of Jamaican and Indian immigrants, Harris has made history throughout her career. But in this move, she sets a new standard, demonstrating that anyone can hold the top office or pursue anything they want. If you were watching the ceremony, then how could you miss out on all the day's most incredible fashions? Let's talk about who stood out the most. For this outdoor event in January, it was all about the coats. Dr. Jill Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and former First Lady Michelle Obama looked stunning in their perfectly tailored, brightly colored coats. Another standout design that was a little less bright but more bold jacket and dress worn by Vice President's stepdaughter, Ella Emhoff. Ella is a student at the renowned Parsons School of Design, and while she didn't create this ensemble herself, it is clear that her style is one to watch. Yes, the fashionable coats were all the rage at last Wednesday, well, except maybe for this guy, who went with more of a practical style. Instead of a musical guest this week, I wanted to highlight another incredible part of the inauguration, the inspiring poem by 22-year-old Amanda Gorman. Here to recite and excerpt Miss Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb, is my talented friend, Victoria Franchamore.
My name is Victoria Franchamore, and I'm going to be reciting an excerpt from the poem, The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman. The hill we climb, if only we dare. It is because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It is the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it. Would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically destroyed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be heirs of such a terrifying hour. But within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how can catastrophe possibly prevail over us? When the day comes, we step out of our shade of flame, and unafraid, the new dawn balloons as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it.
Now, I am very excited to introduce Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz.
Well, first, I want to thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here with you, Lily.
Can you tell us about your family and growing up?
I grew up in Colombia part of my life, and I came here when I was a little bit younger than you. I was 9 years old, and I grew up in different parts of Brooklyn, of Queens, and it was very lonely at first because I didn't have any little siblings, and later my sisters and my brother were born, and we made a family, and it was tough because we were poor, and my mom had to work a lot. My mom was a nanny. My mom cleaned houses. She sold food on the street, and she didn't know English, and I didn't know it at first. So it was difficult, but there was a lot of love. There was a lot of support, and I am here now.
So, what did you do before you were elected?
I was a lawyer and I worked in the courthouse with your mom, actually, when we first started our careers. And later, I went to go work in government to write laws and to support other elected officials like myself do their job.
What made you decide to run for office?
So after the last election for the last president, Lily, I felt like I had done so much really good things for the state, for the city, for my community, but it felt like I needed to do more. And at first, I didn't know how, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I went through a little bit of a crisis, thinking and just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And the opportunity came about to run for the seat, to represent my community, to fight for my community in a different way. And it felt like I had no choice. Like this was the thing I had to do to fight for my people. And so I did it. I called your mom and I said, I'm going to do this crazy, crazy thing and I'm going to run. And I called your dad, and they both were very supportive, as well as all my other friends. And we all began this crazy road to get here. Even you were part of the campaign.
So, as a member of the State Assembly, you represent District 39 in Queens, which is one of the most diverse communities in the country. What are some things that you're working toward?
So I get the honor of representing these three beautiful neighborhoods, Jackson Heights, Corona, and Elmhurst, which, as you said, is the most diverse place in the country. We have people who speak more than 150 languages are spoken in the entire neighborhoods. And I say this because while there's so many differences, there's several things that we all need and strive for, especially after the pandemic. We need safe and affordable housing. We need a source of food. You came to help us when we were doing the food distribution. We don't have many places that give food to people who lose their jobs in our community. And so we need a steady place where people can actually get their food. And we need to be able to help our small businesses get back on their feet. We have tons of amazing restaurants, amazing places to get your nails, your hair done, all these small businesses in my neighborhoods that are suffering. And so a lot of the work that we're doing, and I say we, because your mom gets to help me do all this amazing work, is to help these three issues move forward. Let's get our businesses back open and thriving and being able to make money because they support the community. Let's get people to be able to stay in their home and it be a safe home, and let's get people to have food.
What advice do you have for kids like me who have big dreams?
Continue to dream big, but work harder. I know when I say harder, I don't just mean like, break a sweat. Just like continue to work hard and smart and concentrate on the idea that you can be anything you want. And I say that because I don't want you to think that this is the one thing you want and you got to work toward that. There's so many things you can be. You're extremely smart, not just you. You're not just beautiful, you're smart, you are driven, you are kind. You are so kind, Lily. And so you have to allow yourself to dream of being whatever you want, but not just think that things are going to come and somehow land on your lap and you're just going to wait there and they're going to come to you. Work hard. Continue to practice your music, continue to practice everything that you do. I'll give you as an example. And when I first met you, you were a good singer, but now you're a great singer. And it's because you've done all the homework that comes with the practice and just getting better. And that's the same advice that I would give to any other young person who either has a specific dream of what they want to be when they grow up, or they're just trying to figure life out. Work hard, practice, be kind, and just allow yourself to dream.
So my next question is, what's your schedule like? Is it terribly busy? Do you have some free time? What's it like?
Well, it depends on the week and what's happening around the city and sometimes even around the country. During COVID, Mom and I would go into the office, feed the community basically because we were giving out food. Sometimes we would be there for 10, 12, 13 hours, and then we'd go home and be exhausted and do nothing else. But during the legislative session on what we would call regular days, in the morning we have session, and that's where we get to actually do bills and debate and be on the floor of the assembly when we were up there. And then we'd have tons of meetings, and sometimes we get to have a little bit of fun and go to dinner. And then, you go to sleep, and the next morning you do the same thing. I don't think that we have what you would call a typical day anymore, especially after this pandemic started, because you never know what's going to happen. But I will say that no matter what I get to do, your mom is very, very good at making sure that I get a little bit of time to relax, a little bit of time to just be me and have fun, because you need that too. And this goes back to what you told me of what advice I would give to young people like you who are dreaming big. Dream big and work hard, but also have a little bit of fun and take care of yourself.
So I remember before you mentioned food distribution. So what other things have you been doing since COVID?
Well, we've gone out to the small businesses to educate them about better practices when they were reopening, and we've given them the tools to do so. We gave them masks, we gave them the thermometers that look almost like a little bit of a gun, so that they can use them for the people that are coming in. We gave them hand sanitizer, just information. Your mom had this fantastic idea of creating a diaper pantry. And so for a while, we were giving out baby food, diapers, baby wipes for families that needed it. And we also have been helping out many members of our community who have unfortunately lost their jobs, be able to apply for unemployment insurance, for public benefits and other things that they need.
And this is my last question. So what's your favorite thing that you've done since taking office? Now, keep in mind, it could be anything. It could be an event. It could be a law you pass. It could be literally anything.
So I don't have like a one single favorite thing. I have a couple of different things. My favorite community event was Pride Prom, where we got to dress up, we got to have fun, and we got to celebrate with our young LGBTQI members of our community. Just fun. Like, we got to celebrate and we got to dance and we got to have a lot of really good fun. My favorite community effort has to absolutely be the baby pantry. What your mom got to do was incredible, and I'm just honored that I got to help her push that. My favorite legislative, like being up in the assembly, a moment was when we passed driver's licenses for all, and it's because when I was your age, I was undocumented, and I was undocumented for a long time, and I never thought I would see the day where I got to help so many people that were living in the same way that I did. And so those are my 3 favorite moments.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had a good time, because I definitely did.
Thank you so much, Lily. It's always great to see you, and I'll see you soon. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Catalina and I go way back. I've known her since before I was even born. Since today is all about the lawmakers who lead us, we are going to wrap up the show with my favorite segment, World's Worst. Today we are talking about the times that maybe our leaders didn't get it right. Here are some of the silliest and weirdest laws. Number 10. In Georgia, it is illegal to use utensils to eat fried chicken. When they say finger looking good, they're serious. In Virginia, it is illegal to keep a skunk as a pet. That just stinks. In Washington, it's illegal to kill Bigfoot. I suggest you run. In North Carolina, it is illegal to hold a meeting with members who are wearing a costume. Good thing The Office was filmed in Pennsylvania. Number 6, in Oklahoma, it is against the law to eavesdrop. So nosy people, you should avoid okay? Number 5, in Arizona, it is illegal to have a sleeping donkey in your bathtub. Well, where else is he supposed to sleep? Number 4, in Quitman, Georgia, it is illegal to let your chicken cross the road. And the final 3 world's worst laws are actually from my state of New York. Oh boy. Number 3, in New York, it is illegal to transport an ice cream cone in your back pocket on a Sunday. That is oddly specific. Number 2, in New York, there is no tax on a delicious fresh baked bagel unless you have done anything to it. You want it toasted with cream cheese? Yeah, we're going to be adding sales tax, buddy. And our number 1 world's worst law that affects every single New Yorker, it is illegal to wear a mask in public unless you are at a party. That is an actual law. But during the global pandemic, it is illegal to go in public without a mask. So, there you have it, folks. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You're technically still a criminal. Well, that's our show. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Late Afternoon Show with Liliana. See you next time.